Hey everyone, we're back again, finishing off the third part of this series. Um, Donald Porter, Porter Associates. Today we're talking about overthinking. So, going back to our original quote, our text, I guess we could say, from Dale Carnegie is worry creates a cycle of overthinking fueled by fear. And we talked about fear, a great response there. We had a fantastic response again. Thank you for everyone who reached out last week for worry and anxiety. Today we're going to talk about overthinking, something that we see a lot in this industry. Um, People, is this the right decision when they're looking at buying a house? Is this the right offer when they're selling a house? Do we make the right decision here or whatever it is? It always starts off as a simple question or a simple, um, you know, concern for sure. But then it spirals so fast, so quickly. Can an amazing decision or an amazing um, offer get turned into, oh, did we sell too quickly? Or has everyone seen it? Or however it could look. Or maybe buyers, like, have we seen every single property that exists? Yes, probably today we have. But what about all the ones that are coming up next week and the week after and the week after that? All of this anxiety, all of this worry stem from fear of loss, um, constantly comes, and a lot of it through overthinking. We talked about last week how one of the things that can help you control your worrying is by doing things that you love more frequently, as well as um, just staying busy. Whether that be with work or just with family, with your kids, with just enjoying nature, your pets, whatever it would be. But when you have the time to sit and you're bored or stew in a certain thought, you can quickly come to a negative reaction really fast. That happens in all aspects of life, not just real estate, but it's something that we see very commonly, especially in this market of uncertainty. What's happening with interest rates? What way are things going to go? Is the world going into a recession? We don't have the answers, and we're asked this all the time as real estate agents. What's going to happen in 5 years? You know what? The government can throw a monkey wrench in any plan, and if we can know the next 2 months, that'd be amazing. But we don't have that crystal ball. So again, we're talking today about overthinking. So stop overthinking and break the cycle of worrying and anxiety, because that is what's so common in today's society as well as in real estate. So three tips again. I went with three last time, so I thought I'd keep it consistent. And three again this way. And we're gonna use the analogy of driving a car. When you're driving, you have lots of time to sit and think, and that's a lot of times when the worry and the anxiety can kind of creep up on you, especially if the radio's not on. If the radio's on, you might be singing along to whatever your tunes are, or listening to your AM radio and sports or whatever you're listening to. But if it's quiet, you have time to think and you have time to overthink in many situations. And what could be a small little molehill, you just turn into a massive mountain in front of you. So, three tips on this one. I actually put banners at the bottom this time for each of you. So, the first one is just focus on what you're driving to today. You know, I went on a road trip with my kids, 4 years old and 2 years old, and we went to the East Coast. Now, that's 18 hours of driving out there. And if you could imagine driving 18 hours with two young kids in a car, that is enough anxiety to sink anyone. But if you break it up into 6 hours, a couple hours here, a couple hours there, but 6 hours a day there and then back, that's very more manageable. So, again, step one is just focus on today. Like, compartmentalize that into when you wake up to midnight. And guess what? 12 o'clock a.m. happens every day. So, when that time comes, worry about that day when it comes. But we're going to focus on today. Step two is reframe every situation you're coming into. So if you know that, oh my goodness, I bought this house, it's amazing, so excited for it, but now I have this and this and this and this and this to get it to do. I gotta get the insurance ready. I gotta get the mortgage papers signed. I gotta get the appraisal if there's a second one happening. Hopefully there's not, especially in this market. If there's all these things that you have to get done now before you take possession, like we said in the first step, it doesn't all have to happen the same day. There is a process, and just work on each process and knock off each one at a time. But again, reframe each situation as a 3-point turn, back to our driving analogy. You know, step one, pull forward and analyze the situation. What's actually happening? What do I have to get done? Pull back and think of the worst case scenario. Oh my goodness, what happens if this comes true? And then you're all intelligent people. Reframe, sorry, the situation of that worst case scenario into something positive. It doesn't have to be negative. For every negative thing out there, you can find the silver lining and find the positivity. So again, analyze the situation in front of you, pull forward, pull back, the worst case scenario. Our minds go there. My mind goes there a lot. And that's usually how I can help navigate a lot of clients out of some bad situations because my mind will go to the worst spot first. But then I can reframe the scenario and find the negativity or find that silver lining and pull forward and keep it positive. Focus on the positivity. Keep the positive part in your life and discard the negativity. There's enough anxiety and worry each day that we come across that we have the ability to move forward and keep things positive. Now, step three is just strategic thinking. We take a road trip out to the East Coast. There's a lot of ways that you can go down that route. You can go way north, bypass Toronto, and then all the way over. You can cut right through Toronto. There's so many ways. The fastest distance from point A to point B is a straight line. But in life, you don't need a straight line all the time. Sometimes there's a hazard, an obstacle in the way. The shortest path isn't always the best path. So pick your map, analyze the situation, figure out the best possible scenario, and move forward that way. Again, keeping it positive, even if the worst is starting to fall into your place and everything seems out of your control. Remember, worry about the things you can control and focus on the controlling them and keeping them positive. And don't worry about things you can't control. We can't control what the government's going to do. Sorry. We can't control what the government's going to do with interest rates. We can't control whether we have a liberal, conservative, or NDP party leading the country. Well, to some extent we can, but we don't have the majority votes in our back pocket as individuals. We have certain control over what we do, though. We have certain control if we are looking at buying a house or we are looking at selling a house. There are things we can do to prepare that house to make it look fantastic. We can clean, we can dust, we can do all of these things. Even at Porter Associates, we do offer complimentary cleaning on our listings. So we already do that one step ahead to create that roadmap and help you succeed with your listings. And for buyers, we have market research days. Give you all the scenarios of all the areas you're looking, all the different possibilities and outcomes that you might come across. We go through a market research day where you're not even looking at buying or selling that day, or sorry, buying that day. But we go through it anyways to help you look at the map rhetorically or figuratively, I guess you could say, as well as, yeah, look at the map as the neighborhoods. What neighborhoods stood out to you that day? What neighborhood do you want to be in? Maybe you're moving here because of your kids. Okay, what school zone is it we need to stay in? What's the catchment area? Maybe you're looking at buying because you're just trying to break into the market. So what parts of the market can you get into for your price point that promises future growth? We've had a good chance at looking through stats through the HPI index, looking at stats as far as growth and development happens and turnover rates, and we can find in those stats key indicators that will help buyers with as much certainty as we can find statistically grow in their purchase and equity. And same with investors. A lot of roadmaps happen with investors. We're constantly looking at numbers. Everything is a numbers game for an investor. So we're looking at the roadmap. We're looking at, what's the worst case scenario? Reframe that. What if the investment is still cash positive, even if your cap rate goes down, as long as your cash flow is still there, it's still a good purchase. And that's what we're facing with right now. A lot of people bought in at a peak, myself included, and the prices have come down. But as long as you're still cash positive, it's still a good investment. And then same with um, any other kind of person looking to work with the market in certain different ways. We have tools, we have tricks and tips And there's a lot of education and analysis that goes into every angle depending on your position with the market. So again, focus on today. Don't worry about the entire journey. It happens in stages, and thank goodness it happens in stages for a reason. And with listings, especially, thank goodness it happens in stages. When your house goes on the market, amazing if your house gets sold right away. If not, there is a process. There's an exclusive process. There's an MLS process. There's even the house is sold. You still have time to pack because you're probably at least 3 weeks out, if not months out from closing. So it doesn't all have to happen right now. There is a process. Compartmentalize the process. Focus on one day at a time to reduce your overthinking and your worrying, anxiety, and fear. Two, 3 point turn to reframe it from negative to positive. And then three, follow the roadmap with whatever agent you're working with, or if you're an agent yourself, whatever mentor you're following, there's a roadmap to success. And you can get there. You gotta be persistent. You have to have a goal, and you have to have a very strong why to make that goal happen. And just follow the process, trust the process, and follow that map. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk to you guys soon.